Hello Star Wars fans, Mando Mitchy back, and today I am celebrating 100 subscribers. I just want to take a moment and say thank you to those of you who took the time to view my content and took the time to commit to maybe considering possibly watching it again sometime. So I sure appreciate that. I've learned a lot in the beginning of this YouTube documenting, curating journey that I wanted to just bring other people along with me in, and it's been great. I've enjoyed this as much as anything I've ever done. So thank you to the 100 people out there that subscribed. And if you're new to this channel and you're just watching, maybe consider subscribing. And today on this, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the action figures that I've collected in this a little over this first year. I didn't set out to be a vintage Kenner collector. It was never on my bucket list. I loved the new vintage collection. Love the idea of world building and diorama building and just so many different aspects of what I could do with that. And that's what I really set out to do. And along the way, I started to pick up some vintage Kenner figures that were in lots that I was buying at auctions and different places. Never bid on any of this specifically until not too long ago. But I started picking this stuff up and really began to just love the idea of having some of this around. So I had heard the Padawan collector said that these things are a time machine. And that's what I totally agree with that. To me, it's a sentimental bridge back to a time in life when things were simple and life was so awesome. And the biggest decision I had to make was whose house me and my friends were going to meet at and to take our collections and go play and just have so much fun. So it really takes me back. And I think that's adult collecting. That's some of that. It connects you with a part of your past that you long to get back to and to revisit. And vintage Star Wars and vintage Kenner does that for me for sure. So I want to talk a little bit about what I have and maybe what my plans are. These are the original 20 figures from the first movie. I knew it as Star Wars. I was a kid of the late 70s, saw it. The first movie I ever saw in the theater was this. I knew it as Star Wars. Later on, then we knew it as A New Hope, Episode 4. So as they released figures, they came out with those initial 12 and then released another 8 standard release figures. And that's what I've got here. I've got all 20 of those on display. Now, many of these have all the original capes, accessories, lightsabers, guns, you name it. Some of them do have some repro or maybe some add-ons. The Greedo, he's all original, but that little orange cape, I bought him in a lot with that on there, and I love it. I think I'm just leaving that thing. He's going to rock that while I've got him set up. So very, very, very cool. But some of the others do have a repro weapon or a repro cape, a couple of them in there. So I would like to have all originals if I could, but I've basically picked up what I could afford and what I found at reasonable prices. So as I go along, I'll continually be looking to upgrade. Now let's talk about variants. So if you're unfamiliar and you want to do a deep dive, go look at the variants in these vintage Kenner action figures, especially this first run from the first movie. You can see I've got 2 Han Solos. One is what is considered a small head Han, and the other one is a big head or a large head Han Solo. Kenner chose to change that, so I have both of those. I'm glad to have it. I prefer the small head. Some people like the large head. It's tomato, whatever you like. So you see that I've got both variants of that there. Again, you'll see both 2 Obi-Wan Kenobis there, one with gray hair, one with white hair. Both those capes are original. Both the sabers are original, and I was able to get both those variants on that. So really, as far as variants go, those are the 2 that I have right now. Now there is what's called a hollow tube Tusken Raider or Sand Person. Very expensive. I've not found him yet. Don't know that I'm willing to pay the price that I see him going for right now, but I would like to have one. He's on my bucket list to get. After that, there's a brown-haired Luke Skywalker. So in his white kind of roby like shirt there with a real lemony colored hair, there's a brown-haired version of Luke. And that thing is pretty expensive too. So I'd like to have that at some point. Not enough to go and drop couple $100 on that either. So a few other variants. One that I would be interested in, and I don't know that I'd probably ever get, is the vinyl cape Jawa. So you can see he's got his cloth robe on. They re-released that. That's the second release with a cloth robe. The first one had that. Kenner chose to put him in, I think for marketing sake, to put him in soft goods. And so I'd like to have that, but wow, to look at those prices, man, that is pretty pricey. So, but other than that, that's kind of what it is, would be variant wise. Now, what I'm missing in here, there's some things that I don't have. You can see the dewback, he is incomplete on top of the Sandcrawler. I'm going to finish him. The Sandcrawler I need to do some work with. The X-Wing I have restored. The case that I got is immaculate. It's wonderful, so I'm real happy with that. The Land Speeder is pristine. That cantina in the background there is very, very nice. So real happy with all of those. A couple of things. I do have 2 Death Star playsets. If you've not seen my videos on restoring those, and I have those set up right now, they're really, really cool. So I'd encourage you to check that out. But love the Death Star playset. I do have a Dianoga Trash Monster in that Death Star playset, but it's a reproduction. So I've been looking for that. I've been bidding on some in auctions and thought I was close, and just haven't got one for a price that I thought was what I was willing to pay. So stay tuned on that. I'm really wanting to add that to my collection. And then the other thing that I would like to have, but I'm definitely not willing to pay for right now, is a blue Snaggletooth. So in the cardboard cantina, not the cantina I've got set up here, but the Sears exclusive cardboard cantina, a blue Snaggletooth, long-legged, silver boots. You'll see the red Snaggletooth here. Same head, same torso, same arms, different color, kind of a dark navy blue with regular tall legs and silver like disco boots. So that thing, I've seen it, up over $500. I've seen it hover down to $350, $300 for something really, really rough. I just can't bring myself to do it yet. But I'm not against that completely. I really want to have one, so we'll see what the future brings. But right now, I've been able to get what I could acquire for what I felt like was a fair price. So this is the first run. I've got a Kenner, what I call my Kenner bounty list. So when I'm out at toy shows, shopping on Marketplace, online auctions, wherever it is, I've always looking for certain things that I want to get. You'll see in the cantina, there's a couple of retro figures, a retro Darth Vader, retro Dr. Evazan, that Walrusman's retro. I like the retro stuff now that I'm starting to kind of build some of this out. So that's neat too. And that's a whole nother discussion as far as that at another time. But so yeah, I am looking to pick up some of the other pieces. I'm actively collecting the Empire Strikes Back. That's my favorite movie, probably. I love Return of the Jedi too. I've got a lot of Empire Strikes Back, so I'm going to be filling in those last pieces. I'll do a collection video on that at some point in the future. Got a lot of the play sets, the vehicles, so on and so forth. And then Return of the Jedi, same thing. I've probably got less Return of the Jedi than any of the other 2 movies. And then there's the last, the Power of the Force 1 line. Whew, man. Talk about some investment, some dollars on that. I don't know. I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying right now either. I think I've enjoyed seeing me able to populate my collection with the money I've spent versus spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on one figure like those things go for. So yeah, so I'm excited about what the future is. I'm going to build as I get kind of that pristine version with original accessories, capes, weapons, and that. I'm going to build a display place. I've already got the idea. I found a 3D file to make the stands that I like. It's kind of got a pill collar on the back, and it's going to be something unique. I've not seen anything like it just anywhere just yet. So I'm going to make that myself. That's something on my bucket list to do. But here's what I have. I love these. I display them in an area in a room that I've got set up, and I continually am expanding. I've got more episode 1 figures than are just right here. I've got some others that I not got set up, maybe not nicest versions or whatnot, but man, just really, really, really like what I've been able to do so far in this first year and a half. So again, subscribers, thank you so much. Subscribing to the channel does help, as the more subscribers there are, the more likes you can share. You can turn those notifications on. That's going to make other people aware of my channel, my content. My thing is, I don't really care about, any of the numbers necessarily. I just want to help people dive into a hobby and a passion that's going to bring them some enjoyment in life. And that's what this has done for me. So that's my goal. So if you can help me accomplish that mission to where, man, we can do some great things, and we can allow some other people to maybe use that time machine to take a trip down that sentimental bridge and go back to a point in time when their life was awesome, and they can rewind the clock. That's my goal. So again, that's what you can do by liking and subscribing. Again, thank you so much. This is Mando Mitchy. God bless. We'll see you next time.